It reminds us of the depth of your love, of our love for you.
The second candle represents our courage to confront each other, our sorrows, and to comfort each other, and to change our lives.
The third candle we light in your memory for the times that we laughed, for the times that we cried, the silly things that you did, and the caring and joy you gave to us.
We light the fourth candle that your light will always shine. As we shine this night of remembrance with your family and friends.
We cherish the special place in our hearts that will always be reserved for you. We thank you for the gift of us. We love you and we will remember you.
There's been a lot of tears shed within the last month of our brother. You know, I've had my share. And we now have arrived at an emotional plateau. We find ourselves overlooking the valley of sorrow, clinging to memories of a happier time, a brighter day when Jean was here. There's surely a void in our hearts, and our tears seem to well up constantly for the hurt we feel in losing Jean. The Bible states, though, that in time, our tears will be turned to joy, and that dawn will come after the darkest hour, that there's a time for weeping and a time for joy, and that though we do not know yet what we shall become, it is promised that we shall all see him face to face. And from that valley of sorrow, we will rise. We will rise. I'm really honored to give the eulogy for my brother, but it's always difficult to summarize the life of a man and what his life meant in just a few words. As we read in the obituary, Jean truly loved his family. Jean would always call somebody every week, mostly just a chit-chat. William Eugene Washington was born April 1st, 1948 in Chicago, Illinois at Cook County Hospital. He was the third of 11 children, James, Barbara, Beverly, Carolyn, who preceded him in death, Michael, Gregory, Gwendolyn, Diane, Betty, and Douglas. Born to Marguerite Evelyn Washington. On July 16, 2013, Jean made his transition from his life to his heavenly home. Pops, as he was known as a child, enjoyed hanging around with and following his brother James to the park, beaches, and playground. And as a child, he loved to read and spend quiet moments in thought. After graduating from high school, he joined the Navy. Now, most of the time when he called, I'd answer the call, and we would talk for quite a while. And at other times, I would simply let the calls go to voicemail.
It's all right.
How I wish now I would have answered them all.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
Sometimes we don't recognize the needs of a person to know that they're loved. We instead put the things of our world that we think are less demanding than listening to a heart that needs our attention right now. Jean was the man that connected us. His positive action stood in contrast and highlighted some of the issues which have for years beset us as a family, such as failing to connect and listen to one another, to exhibit simple joy, to not stand in judgment, to forgive. Jean was a catalyst, a beginner of the process, an agent of change to this family, even from Vegas. In reading what Barbara wrote in the obituary, you also see that Jean was a man of great persistence. He selected a goal and went steadfast toward it. He ignored the time it would take, the obstacles he had to overcome, and any challenges his goal would present. I mean, 2 master's degrees, multiple certifications. He taught English as a second language to foreigners while he was working. In anything he wanted, he persisted until he succeeded. We can all learn from that. Gene was unique. He was one of a kind. He didn't want to ever be like the next guy. Now, who can truly say they knew anybody like Gene? I sure did. Jimmy was talking, how many of you remember those Superfly outfits from the 70s? You remember that orange, furry, hot pants outfit he made? Custom made, this is the guy, right? Orange, short, hot pants with white fur trim. Then he had a vest. He was bare chested, had the vest, orange, white fur trim. Them big stacks we used to wear back in the day. And he got these little skinny bony legs, right? Then to top it off, he had a big old fedora. Same.
And pulled it off. And pulled it off.
He pulled it off.
Yeah.
He pulled it off.
Yeah.
That was Gene.
Yeah.
Do you remember how he used to laugh? Just maniacal. First syllable always loud. Gene was different and proud of the dudes. He was intense, obstinate, optimistic, self-willed, and fiercely independent. He was drawn to his visions. He had guts. He was willing to risk and live on the edge. Truly a self-made man. He was rare, not a commodity. And there's value in all rarity. Now we know that Gene was not without his faults. He needed a savior just as we do. He sparred with his own personal demons, just as we do. There was the drinking and years of chain smoking, perhaps a little anxieties, perhaps more cussing than necessary. He could bring that temper and feistiness we all inherited from Susie Carter and Aunt Erlene. But he also brought the meekness and people love from our mother Evelyn and our Aunt Helen. And really all of our matriarchs. I suppose if Gene was here in voice and spirit, he may have a little to say to his brothers and sisters, but so much more to say to the future leaders of the clan, and also to your offspring who carry the legacy. He would encourage you, as did the Master, to love ye one another. Take care of each other. Be kind to your children. Don't ignore the spiritual cries of a heart longing for your affection. Build their egos through strict discipline and encouragement, rooted in love. Know also that forgiveness and mercy are paramount. Thoughts of anger, irritation, vengeance destroy your peace more than the person you're seething about. He would tell you to get your education, become competitive, earn good money and save it, pursue your dreams, become champions in your calling, and realize it's never too late to revive your dreams. He would tell you to go for it. As Gene would always say, we're cut from a fine piece of cloth. Indeed, we are all from a fine piece of cloth. But if this is true, then how will we each tailor this cloth? With what shades of fabric will we dress our minds and our thoughts? Will we create a coat of many colors to proudly show the world? Or will we hide and obscure the beauty of our lives through pettiness and anger, thoughts of insecurity, lewdness, weakness, not being the victor but the victim, not only enslaved to people but to ideas and attitudes and lack of action? Family, know that no Washington, no Carter, no Latimer, no Roberts, no Jacobs, no McGee, no Sykes was ever raised in fear. The DNA of our legacy is built from many generations of those with faith, love, and spiritual strength. Gene would preach to you not to ignore the urge of your higher calling. Even now, the seed of change is coursing through the atmosphere to make ourselves a better people, a stronger family. Gene never left us hanging. He was always available to generously help a family member if need. He refused to let us ignore the obligations to relate to each other. He would always ask me if I've talked to Mike, or to Barbara, or to Beverly, or Larry, or Kermit, because he had. If Gene had your phone number, you were going to get a call. So here's the question. Why did he do this? What was the point? Was it just because he was lonely, because he was separated from family? Perhaps.
That wasn't it.
Or could there have been a deeper reason? Not even known to Gene, but ordained to him by God to start the rejuvenation and rebuilding of a treasured family that had been dormant for too long. Was the purpose to force us to go deeper into our spirits and bring forth the best we can offer, to make us challenge our higher potential until it cries for mercy and blossoms into the realization of our dreams individually and as a family. If indeed this was his purpose, I pray that he knows he succeeded. Here we are. Here we are. Let us embrace one another while it still can be called today. We'll eliminate all negative tensions so that love can grow. Let it blossom between brothers and sisters, cousins and aunts, parents and children, friends or foes, nations or kingdoms. Make love your greatest weapon, and none on whom you call can defend against his force. Gene had been through the valley, yet he rose up, and always looking to the light, always expressing a zest for living and unconditional love for his family. Let us cherish that legacy of Gene, and let us do likewise. Thank you.
All right.